All right, call the meeting to order. I think we're down maybe one or two more folks, but they will be joining us shortly. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021 and Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting of the Neighborhood Improvement Advisory Council is being conducted with remote participation. Persons who would like to listen or view this meeting remotely while it is in progress may do so by visiting zoom.com, entering meeting ID 885-9092-9757 and password 588209 and join. You can also dial a toll-free phone number 877-853-5257 to join the meeting. When prompted, enter meeting ID 885-9092-9757 and password 588209 and follow the instructions to join the meeting. Please note there's no public comment portion during this meeting. In our first order of business is approval of minutes from the May 11th, 2022 meeting. If there aren't any changes or corrections, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the May meeting? Moved by Dennis, seconded. Thanks. All in favor? So we have two guests for this evening's meeting. Rahina is going to be joining us a little bit later. She's at another meeting. But to start off, we have Joel Simonson from Salem Food for All. It's the city's food policy council, and Joel's come to talk a little bit about the assessment work that's underway and how neighborhood associations can be part of that work. So Joel, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to meet everybody this evening. Thanks for having me. I'll be very brief with my remarks, and certainly am open to any questions and follow up after this. But as Dominic mentioned, my name is Joel Simonson. I'm a member of a Salem resident, first of all, but also a member of Salem Food for All, our local food policy council, and I'm also a community food researcher with the city. And what we've been doing in partnership with the city, Salem State, and the Food Policy Council has been an update to the 2018 food assessment that was conducted in the city. What really, there's just some gaps and certain reasons for why we're doing updates to this food assessment. There's certain programs that the city's implemented as a result of the food assessment, and certain organizations like the Salem Pantry and Root have adapted their programming as a result of the assessment a number of years ago. But one big gap that the city identified in this assessment was community voice, and really trying to get folks with lived experience of food insecurity, with hunger, with just trouble of making ends meet at the end of the day, to be able to get their voice in assessing the city's needs for, what is the need for accessing good food? What are the barriers to accessing good food? Are there things that the city could be doing to implement various programs and policies to advance solutions towards this? So that's really what we've been doing. We've been working again closely with Salem State to develop our research question, really go through a really formal process in terms of just a research project. And at this point, we've really been trying to hold focus groups with people in the community, me and other community food researchers that have been working on this. So my pitch today is really just, if this is an interest of you, whether it's your personal experience or if you know people in the community that you think might be interested in participating, it's all, of course, anonymous. There's a benefit of a $20 market basket gift card for anyone who participates in the focus group, which we anticipate being about an hour and a half long. And again, we can schedule it at a time that's most convenient for folks, really aiming to get these scheduled within the next couple of weeks or so, if availability presents itself. And again, we're really just looking to get community voice in this and really just understand, again, like what those barriers are that folks might be experiencing. Is some of that related to the pandemic? Are there new emerging trends that we should all be aware of when it comes to this issue? And that's really what we're hoping to get and be able to inform the city to implement some policies moving forward that could help alleviate those. So I'll stop there. It's a very brief pitch. But if anyone has any questions or anything I can clarify, please let me know. And again, I just appreciate your time this evening.
Anne?
Hi, nice to meet you, Joel.
Hi, you too.
Do you want people that are experiencing food insecurity in the focus group, or anybody who would be care to join?
It can really be anybody. It could even be yourselves. You're all residents as well. And again, I think that one thing we've identified is that, well, first of all, the face of hunger is different and silent. So no one really knows what someone's really going through in that regard. So yeah, there are folks that we have been holding focus groups with that are frequent visitors of the Salem Pantry. There's other folks that we've been working with that have limited access to transportation. And it's not so much that they are necessarily experiencing food insecurity, but their lens is, I have trouble getting to the grocery store. Hearing about that is really helpful. We've also been, we had a focus group with several organizations in the community. I mentioned a couple of them, the Pantry, with Root, also at the public schools and thinking about school meals and things like that. So really casting a wide net and looking from there about what can we discern from the research that we find. So to answer your question, you don't have to be experiencing food insecurity. You don't have to have had it in the past. We're really looking for community voice in talking about this issue.
Is it true that Charlie's Market is going to close downtown, Quality Market?
That I'm not aware of. That's not something I'm sure of.
Thank you.
Other questions? Yeah.
Do you have information where to get in touch with you, Joel?
Yes, I'll plan on sending an email after this with a flyer and my information to get in touch with me.
Can you do a Facebook page?
At this moment, that's something that the Salem Food Policy Council is working on. I know one thing that we've been doing is having pretty regular meetings on a set schedule, but we have an aspiration, hopefully within the next year or so, to really be more formalized in how we conduct our business. So I'm hopeful that there'll be a Facebook group soon. I know that one of our city councilors is a part of it and is hoping to be a big part of that formalization process as well. Just bringing in their voice as well. And so yes, that's an aspiration to have a Facebook page and other information that folks can access on a regular basis, like a newsletter, things like that as well.
Am I still muted?
No, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, sorry. Joel, I just had a question. We have an upcoming neighborhood meeting next week. If I put out there that anybody knows anybody, residents that does have food insecurities, if we could get them, how do we go about getting their information to you or your information to them? Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. I'll send the flyer and my basic information, and you're welcome to spread the word. I can pass them out. Okay. Absolutely. Great. Thank you very much. And again, I think you'll see in the information, it's really, yes, if someone has lived experience, we are particularly interested in hearing from that, from people in the community with lived experience, but it doesn't have to be exclusive to that either. So if folks are just concerned about this issue and they want to, talk about it and talk about their experience in accessing food while a resident of Salem, we'd love to hear from them as well. Great. Thank you. Great work you're doing. Thank you. Thank you.
Christy.
Joel, I just wanted to mention we have a Facebook group here in town that's called Salem Mamas. And this is really important on there. Whenever someone here in town mentions that they have a need, all the other mamas seem to join in and give gift certificates or order them groceries and things like that. So the flyer that you send, I will definitely be sharing on there because that's a huge group. It's probably around 1,500 moms here in town. So you can get a lot of feedback that way as well. So I'll share that there too.
Thank you. I know our whole team appreciates that. I know there was another Facebook group. It maybe was similar. I think it was more Spanish being the primary language, and one of our community food researchers was a part of that Facebook group. So I know that she's been sharing it through that channel, but again, the more the merrier to spread the word. So we really appreciate that. And I'll make sure to pass that along to you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll share out the information from Joel to the group, whatever you want to send along, I'll pass on to the group.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And thank you all again for your time this evening.
Thanks for coming. So since we are waiting on Rahina, I thought maybe we'd jump out of order and just get into some neighborhood association updates, since sometimes it feels like we're rushed at the end and not able to get those. So if folks have information they want to share, questions or requests for more information on something, why don't we, or any updates for the other groups, that we can go ahead and share them now. So we'll start with Dennis. Got anything?
Yeah, nothing really with the neighborhood other than, Highland Avenue is getting ready to undergo a major repavement effort. But there's also a lot of development getting ready to go on. We have development between Clark and Barnes. You've got the Tropical Product site, the gas station that's going to be on the corner of Barcelona. Do you know if there's any coordination between those and the state to see if they get their utilities tied in before they pave so that they're not digging the roadway up again?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there is. I'll confirm with you and let you know what how they're operating that. Some of those projects, like I think the Tropical Products one, those, like the paving work is going to be happening over the course of the next few months, and some of those projects are much further out in the future, I think. So they're not going to delay the paving work for a project that's going to happen in a year or two.
Yeah, well, I thought Tropical Products was, had all its permits in place and maybe something waiting on the state, but
I don't know. I can check on that. But yeah,
and then
they
the
do
same
have to,
thing.
Yeah, any of the street opening, it's just like with the city policy around street openings on a paved street, that the timing around that, the state I think has a similar policy.
Okay. All right.
I'll verify that. It's a good question.
Okay, thanks.
Ann?
Everything's good out here in Northfields. We're planning to do on June 25th a tour of our historic fire station at 142 North Street. So it's a teeny tiny little place. I'm not sure how many people are going to show up, and if they show up, how many people could fit in there, but we're going to just give it the old college try. I think there's also plans afoot to do a bike parade down at Furlong Park on July 4th. And that's the updates, but I am a little curious, Dominic, about the article I read in the paper today that there's all these streets in Salem's which aren't legal streets.
They're sorry about that.
Or they're not public streets. Maybe
They're not accepted. They weren't accepted in the correct manner, apparently.
Is that going to be crazy?
No, I think as the city solicitor indicated in the article, that as they are identified and become an issue, they're corrected through the proper means.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Cindy.
Hello, everyone. We have a few things coming up. We have a prospective garden tour of the neighborhood. We're trying to put it together for July 23rd to raise some funds for our association. So far, we have a dozen gardens that people committed to. We're just working out the particulars, and hopefully we'll get that up and running. Belle Stedman is actually spearheading that up. And then a question, well, we have the speed bumps. They should be going in on Columbus Ave for our traffic calming project. And also the bigger project at Columbus and Ford Ave was just to reconfigure the street to kind of cut down the speeding coming into the neighborhood. I heard that was just approved for the funds for that. So that was a good thing. I did hear though, and I have a call into the police department, that there was an armed robbery down at the Willows a few days ago, that one of the DPW workers was held up and his wallet was stolen, but I can't get any answers on that. No one's gotten back to me yet. Do you know anything about that, Dominic, that I could pass on? A lot of neighbors are calling me, asking me for information, and I really don't have any, concrete information on it. Have you heard anything?
I've not heard anything about that, but I can see what I can try to find out. Do you know when it was?
I'm not sure if it was end of last week or it was over the weekend. I get a lot of people ask me, but I don't want to speculate on anything until I really know what's what happened, and if it did happen, could we get more police patrols down here? On the weekends, it's getting crazy again. The new parking lot is just opening up near the tennis courts. I don't know if anyone's been down here lately, but it does look really nice. The tennis courts were just resurfaced. The parking area is going to be opening up, and it looks really nice, and hopefully it'll cut down on the chaos. But there are a lot of people that come down here, and there's, I know they can't have the beat officer station down here, this whole beat, but I think they need to put more police patrols. There are a lot of people that come down here, so if they could do that, a lot of people concerned when they heard about the armed robbery, so we'd just like to get information on that. We have our next meeting. We had one in May in person, and we'll have another one next week in person. Is anybody else doing in-person meetings again with your associations? No?
We're limping along. We're trying to, but even it's, I guess I kind of wanted to talk to people about this, is even though we give them the programming they want, they kind of don't show up. And I don't really know what the reason is.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to get people to come. We have Seth Luttrell coming next week from the city of Salem to talk with the group is going to present for the offshore wind turbine that's happening.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to come to and attend it, I know he's going to have a citywide meeting on that also, but if you can't make that one, which I think he said it was the 22nd, but ours is next Tuesday night at Winter Island, anyone's welcome to. They're going
Is
to
that
be
live?
Yeah, in person at Winter Island Function Hall at 7 p.m.
That's great.
And I know he said he's going to do a citywide one. I'm not sure if that's in person though. And,
Yeah, right.
and Dominic, are they going to be doing in-person meetings again, starting say in July, I heard, or is it still on Zoom?
So the meeting on offshore wind is going to be on Zoom. City board meetings, which is actually something that we will need to discuss. We can talk about at the end of the meeting. Currently the state law that allows boards to meet remotely in their entirety expires July 15th. I think there was an amendment in the Senate, but the state Senate's budget that would allow it to continue through December. It wasn't in the House version that I'm aware of, so it would have to come out of the conference committee and be maintained by the governor. But as it stands right now, after July 15th, quorum board members for all boards and committees would have to be meeting in person once again.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, we've been, trying to maintain hybrid meeting formats for board members and for the public, so that people that aren't able to come are still able to participate. I've been going to them all the last couple of weeks with the city council on the budget stuff, and it's worked pretty well. So it's still an accommodation for people that aren't able to get to the meeting in person as a board member or as a member of the public. But a quorum of the board would have to be in person, and the public would obviously always be welcome in person.
Great.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. Thank you very much.
Sure. Gabriel, are you there? Are you frozen?
Yeah, he's there.
He's there.
Hi, everyone. Items going on with the Salem Common Neighborhood Association. At the top of our list, we have the Washington Arch restoration. There's going to be a hearing on the 15th of this month, Wednesday, 6 p.m., where we're seeking approval of the replacement of the McIntyre carvings on the arch. And we have Skylight Studios retained to do that work. They've done other work around Salem, and we have a full understanding with them to restore the carvings. And what will happen and in what order is still up for discussion, but we're optimistic about that. If you've been to the common, you might have noticed that some nice landscaping has been done around the arch already. And so it's looking much better than it was before. Events-wise, there's going to be the July 4th reading of the Declaration of Independence this year. Mayor Driscoll is going to be there, possibly Councilor Merkel, and there will be coffee and scones as the year previous. We're also a sponsor of the Garden Club's upcoming event in July. And as far as neighborhood issues, we have had crosswalks painted on the north side of the common. Unfortunately, the traffic department doesn't have the capability to get the entire perimeter of the common at once. So this stuff is happening on a piecemeal basis, first one street, later another. So we'll keep an eye on that. And we have enhancements on the common. There has been lawn revitalization. So if you come down and look, it's in better shape altogether. They've been putting in the grass, filling in the gullies and divots. And so it's quite encouraging. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
And Christy.
So nothing major is going on over here. We do have some questions just in general. Do you know any information when the park and recs are going to be, I guess, refurbishing like the playground areas of all the parks that have the wood chips, just sprucing it up for the spring and summertime for the kids to play? And then we've got a lot of damaged playground equipment throughout the city that we've noticed. Lots of people have done the C-Click fix and things like that, but they're just not getting fixed. And several of them are just not safe for the kids. I'm not sure if you know about a schedule for that or if that's just a question for Tricia Bryan.
It'd be the park foreman for DPW, so I can check to find out where things stand on the queue for the playground equipment repair.
And mostly the mulch places. We've been to, I guess, 6 parts. We're talking about it today as a group, and just mulch and the equipment. So thank you for that. And then Forest River, I know everybody's really excited about the pool opening up, and more information went out a few hours ago about that we're all sharing, which is great. So thank you for updating that and trying to calm that down a little bit, all the talk that was going on. And here on Tremont Street, we're still concerned about the speeding. We did get the first, from my understanding, the first permanent humps in our neighborhood on this side of North Street. So we're interested to see how those are going to progress, and after the painting and everything's done on them, how the snow plows are going to go around that. So that's about it. Thank you for the Mac Park House information as well. Do you know when somebody's going to be selected to actually move in there?
I don't offhand, but I can find out when the timetable is, as far as when it closes and the process after that.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So our second guest speaker for this evening is Regina Zaragoza Frey, who has joined us. Regina is the city's first Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And I appreciate that she actually just came from another Zoom meeting, so zooming around Salem today. I will turn it over to Regina to introduce herself, talk a little bit about the DEI work that she's going to be doing for the city, what DEI is, and then take any questions that folks have. So Regina, thank you for joining us.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, like Dominic was saying, I just came over from another meeting where I was basically doing the same thing with the Latino Leadership Coalition. So it's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to meeting as many of you as I can in the next few months. And yeah, I'm the new DEI director, which, as you may or may not know, it's a completely new role. So we're still navigating that space and what that means and what I'm going to be doing. So in the first 90 days, I'm really just interviewing as many people as I can, both in the city and in the community, and learning as much as I can from Salem. About Salem. And so a little bit about me. I grew up in Mexico. I'm originally from Mexico. If you look at a map, I'm from the very center, from a place called Querétaro. And so then my family moved to Colorado, which is where I spent the bulk of my career and where I attended college. And so I then moved to Salem from there. And so I'm brand new to the area. I moved here in December, and I have never lived by the ocean, so this is exciting for me. And so I've worked in DEI for about 4 years now, more or less. But every job that I've had has had some social justice component to it, so it's always been a part of the conversations that I've had, if you will. And yeah, so in terms of what I'm going to be doing, as you may be aware, there was this race equity task force, and they did a lot of work. They wrote a report which I'm going to be implementing in the next 3 years or so with the help of a race equity commission. And so per the recommendations of the Race Equity Task Force, they asked that my position be created, as well as this Race Equity Commission, to really ensure that equity is in the forefront of the conversations and city initiatives. And so there are 5 subcommittees as part of that. There's education, health, public safety, economics, and community culture. And so those are kind of the main focus. That's the main focus of the commission, is to implement the recommendations set forth by those 5 subcommittees. And with that, I guess I'll just open it up and see if I can answer any of your questions, and just happy to be here and delighted to meet all of you.
Thanks. Any questions, folks?
Where are you? Oh, hi, this is Gabe Ciociola. I'm from the Salem Common Neighborhood Association. If one asks Regina, where are you operating out of? Do you have an office in City Hall?
Yeah, so I'm right in front of City Hall. I'm in the annex. That's where my desk is located. I don't really have an office, but I have a space there.
Okay. So I go to City Hall in the annex, and there's different desks where the public can go up and ask questions and stuff. And I was just trying to place you in that.
Yeah, no, a lot of people have been asking me that, actually. And no, I'm actually, people don't see me because I'm in the annex. And so people have actually been finding me, which is I think is great. But I'm in the 2nd floor of the annex with the building department.
Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Oh, go ahead, Chrissy.
So how are you finding it, or are you finding it difficult to bring other people to the table that should be at the table here in town? We're struggling with that a little bit at our school, with the PTO, bringing people in that's more representative of our community. How are you going about that?
Yeah, so that is such a critical and important question, because as you know, representation matters, and Salem is a really diverse city, and so that has been mentioned to me again and again, brought to my attention. that we have a lot of boards and commissions that do not represent the community that we serve. And that also extends to the city employees, right? So we have some diversity, but not a lot. And so that all of that is part of the efforts that I'm going to be trying to implement, both internally in the city, but also just working on externally as well. And so it's, I don't know if I have a straight answer in the sense that I'm doing this and this is working, but I'm trying a lot of different things. And I'm definitely connecting with key community members, and as well as getting to know as many community groups, because I think they're going to be key in getting the word out there. And also, I've done a lot of this work in the past in my previous roles, and an important thing to keep in mind is that a lot of these systems are kind of put in place with the status quo in mind, meaning, we're in the sense that we're in a Zoom meeting right now. There was an agenda that was sent out, and there's, there's minutes. And so there's kind of a structure that is put in place for a lot of these decisions to be made, which is not how a lot of communities make decisions. And so that's one of the things that I'm kind of thinking about, is a lot of community members don't want to participate because the system is just set up differently, right? So we need to ask questions about, like, how can we change to really have the participation that we're looking for? And yeah, like, for example, I'm thinking of meeting with the community and going to a coffee shop in the Point, for example, to have a lot of interviews. So really thinking about how can we, rather than bringing into what already exists, how can we change what exists to be more inclusive?
Great. That sounds like we're all on the same track then. We've talked about like changing meeting times or locations. Exactly. We're talking about Espacio down in the
exactly,
just different locations where it's more comfortable and easier for people to meet. So I'm glad to hear that you're doing that, because it really makes a difference. Is also communication in the different languages being available. If a flyer goes out, it needs to be in multiple languages so people have access to it. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, translation is key, and that has come up in my conversations, and probably 80% of the conversations that I've had, somebody has brought up language as a barrier. And so that's a big one, and not just Spanish, but also Portuguese and the myriad of other languages that are spoken in the Salem community, right? And so, yeah, that's definitely on the forefront of my mind. Another one that I just thought of is accessibility of information. Like, there's a lot of assumptions that we make when we think of who has access to the internet, for example. I think COVID made us realize exactly how many people didn't have access to the internet. And I mean, that's a human right, that's something that was declared a human right a few years ago. And so there's just a lot of questions to still be answered when it comes to access to information.
Thank you. Hopefully our new internet program here in town, once that gets going, that'll ease a little bit of strain that causing people with the overall charge that they're doing with the internet. So hopefully the new system will help with that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Other questions or thoughts? I will I'll share a link to the Race Equity Task Force Action Plan and information about how to get in contact with Regina if you have other questions or want to follow up with her about anything. Great.
Before we would let Regina go, I just wanted to say that the Salem Common Neighborhood Association has benefited from having different public employees come to our monthly meeting and give a little discussion of what they're doing. And I'd very much like to have Regina do something like that in the coming months when she feels like she has her situation settled under her and is ready to discuss things. So thank you
Yeah,
very much.
absolutely. I'm more than happy to do that. I'm in fact doing that already with a lot of community groups, just as a way of getting to know as many people as possible, and learning about what people are experiencing in the city. So I'd be happy to do that. I'm sure Dominic can send you my information if you don't already have it. And so feel free to connect with me via email or whichever method you prefer.
Mhm. All right, I look forward to that. Thank you.
Great.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
Rena. You don't have to stick around for the rest of the agenda.
All
but,
right,
I
sounds
appreciate it.
good. Thank you
Thanks.
so much for having me. Goodbye.
So I just wanted to close up with a couple of quick city updates, and then so first, we still have rapid COVID tests available for people that want to pick them up at the health department over in City Hall Annex while supplies last. And there's sufficient supplies, so come and get them. The curative trailer down doing PCR testing in Riley Plaza has they're going to be there through the end of December, so they're going to maintain. They're talking about maybe moving to a like a storefront location for October because they're anticipating greater volume of people that might be coming to get tested there. So they're looking for a place that might have a little bit more capacity. But not sure if that's going to work out yet. We'll let folks know if they do end up relocating for that month. You may have seen the news about Get Around. It's a new community car share program. If people have the app, they can download. They have access to these fleet of hybrid vehicles that they can rent on an hourly basis. We mentioned Forest River Parks can open for the public on June 18th. The first 2 weekends, it's open, free swim, no charge to anyone. Have to be a Salem resident. There's a capacity limit on the pool of 250 people, so they are going to limit the number of people that are in there at a time. The facility also has community rooms, splash pad, locker rooms, bathrooms, concession stand. And the full schedule's on the website, salem.com/Forest River. The YMCA is providing the management and the lessons and the lifeguarding. So they're setting the policies as far as what they have for pool safety, kind of similar to the policies they have at their other pools. As was mentioned, the city sponsoring free swim lessons for Salem children through the Y at the pool. And we're also working on a program we're having for the last few months that will hopefully be rolled out by the end of the month, where we'll be able to offer free or reduced passes for income eligible residents as well, so that the goal is that finance would not be a barrier for anyone needing to access the pool. Yep, Pam?
2 questions. Would you please repeat the dates that the pool is open for free?
It's the last 2 weekends of June.
Okay, so not this weekend.
No. It's let me just. This is one of the great things about Zoom is I can just do this.
I think it's 18, 19.
Yeah, it's the 18th, 19th, and 25th, 26th from 11 to 6. It's open to the public, and then additionally, and again, there's with the capacity limitation. So if you're the 251st person, you might have to wait outside the gate until somebody leaves. Yeah, Christy.
Is there going to be adult lane swim at all planned?
Yeah, if you look on the schedule, that it's again salem.com/Forest River. There's lap swim times on weekends from and then I think open swim times. Lap swim times on Wednesday evenings and then Saturday, Sunday mornings.
Thank you.
Yeah, and again, that schedule is set by the Y. Yeah, Christy, you have a question? I'm sorry, your audio broke up.
Sorry, that was my sugar alarm telling me I need to eat something.
Oh.
So the first 250 people, just general question, has there been a thought process of if you get there, you can stay for 2.5 hours and then you need to leave so it has a better turnover, or first 250 people can stay from opening to close is the way we're seeing it right now? So has that been thought about?
I will check with Charity and see what the WISE policy is going to be on that. I think it's going to be hard for lifeguards to go around and monitor how long
Yeah.
every single person was there and then kick them out. But yeah, obviously we wouldn't want somebody showing up at 9 a.m. and camping out till 6 p.m.
Right. We were just thinking that it might be used as a babysitting area, honestly. So thanks for checking with them.
Dennis?
Yeah, a little bit earlier, we mentioned the sci-fi. Do you know, is there any update on that?
I have no update on it. There's still, I think, some litigation between the company and their contractor. So as far as I know, the project's kind of at a standstill until that's reaches some kind of resolution.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else on Forest River? No, we had some questions about it. So the city's launched a 311 service. This is we just dial 311 from any number in the city. You get connected to a live operator during city business hours. These folks have been trained to be able to hopefully answer questions. They have C-Click Fix up as a customer, a CRM, whatever that means. And so they're able to just kind of data enter a specific report as it comes in or connect you to the relevant department. There is a Spanish speaking operator as well. So if somebody calls 311 and they only speak Spanish, the other operators know what to say and then how to transfer that individual to the Spanish speaking operator. And then also was mentioned June 22nd, 6 o'clock, the team doing the offshore wind site is going to have a public informational meeting. This is part of their permitting process to just kind of get to know the companies and get to know the project. You do have to register. It's a Zoom meeting, and the registration is salem.com/OSW meeting, offshore wind meeting. And I'll send all these links around this information when I send minutes and the other follow-ups. So those are the only updates I had for now. The other thing I wanted to just touch on is that we typically don't meet over the summer. So our next meeting would be September 14th. But if folks wanted to do a meeting in the summer, we can coordinate by email and set that up. Or if there's information that you really want to share with the other groups, you can always let me know and I'll put it out to the email list. Our meeting in September would be in person. Right now, I think we're still scheduled to meet at the annex in the medium room, medium first floor meeting room, which we used to meet at. But there's a possibility we may be moved over to the CLC in the boardroom over there. So obviously I'll let folks know well before September 14th, where it'll be. So are there any other questions or things? You all know how to get a hold of me if you want to shoot me an email or call. Yes, Cindy, go ahead.
I forgot to mention, they are having the parade, the July 4th parade down here, the Horribles Parade, starts at 10 o'clock at Columbus Square.
Yeah.
And did I hear right that the fireworks in Salem are going to be on June 2nd, the Saturday?
July 2nd. Yeah.
Oh,
we're doing
July
it Saturday
2nd. I
night.
meant July
Yeah.
2nd. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, and there should be an official announcement coming out about that this week, but will be the same thing that's happened pre-COVID. So the kids stuff, the food, the fireworks, the band, the orchestra, the whole kit and caboodle down at the Maritime Center.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, and again, that's July 2nd. July
2nd. Yeah, sorry.
We celebrate July 4th on July 2nd. So
Yeah, sorry.
it's better to party on a Saturday than on
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
If there's nothing else, we'll adjourn the meeting. I hope everyone has a fun and enjoyable and safe summer.
Thank
Great
you.
summer, everybody. See you at the
Thanks
pool.
all. Take care. Yeah.
Don't
All right.
swim.